Hey everybody, I hope y'all are having a great day today. So we're going to be checking out the new ABH Cream Bronzer. So I got the shade Hazelnut, so that's the one we're going to be playing around with today. But we're going to look at the whole shade range because I do have a thought or two on that. We're also going to be doing some comparison swatches of this shade to some of my other favorite bronzers. And then of course we're going to apply this. We're going to see how it applies and if it gives us that warm summer glow that we're all looking for in our bronzer. So before we get into this, if you're here for the first time, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is SonyaNicole and I post makeup videos here. I do some stuff specifically for us 40 and over makeup lovers. So if you're interested, please consider subscribing while you're here today. I would really appreciate it and I would love to have you join the channel. Okay y'all, let's jump right into it. Okay, so let's start off with some of the details about this product. So again, it's called the ABH Cream Bronzer. It is available in 7 shades. We're going to look at those shades in just a second, and it retails for $35. So this is a weightless cream formula that gives a natural sun-kissed warmth and some definition. So as I understand it, a lot of these shades, if not all of them, are supposed to be good for bronzing plus like a little bit of contouring at the same time. It's supposed to be buildable and blendable, also very highly pigmented, and even though it's a cream formula, it's supposed to set to a nice matte natural looking skin like finish. So like I said, I got the shade Hazelnut, so I'm gonna pop up a picture of the entire shade range on the screen, and I was going back and forth between Ulta and ABH's website when I decided to buy this because I did order it online. So one thing I do like about this shade range is that they have those really deep tones at the end of the range, because we often don't see that, especially when it comes to bronzers and contours, because those two products, they have to be deeper than a foundation shade in order for someone with a really deep skin tone to be able to use that. So I do appreciate that they have those really deep skin tones, but I feel like people who are my complexion may not have a shade in here. So I was initially looking at the shade Caramel, which is described as tan to deep with warm undertones. So if you look at the picture of Caramel in the container, in this picture it looks like it's really not going to be deep enough for me. It looks more yellow than it does golden, and it just looks like it's not going to be deep enough. And if you look at the color, if you look at the picture of the swatch of Caramel, it does look a little deeper in this picture, but I just wanted to err on the side of caution, and I was thinking, you know, Caramel might be a little too light. So if you compare Caramel to Hazelnut, it's pretty much the same thing. When you look at the picture in the container, Hazelnut looks a little bit lighter than it does in the picture of the swatch of Hazelnut. So I'm thinking, you know how swatches can be kind of like inflated when they show you the pictures because they're using like a lot of the product to swatch. Am I making sense when I say that? But I'm just thinking that the shade, the way it looks in the container, is probably more true to color than the color of the swatch. So I hope that all of that made sense. So I decided to go with the shade Hazelnut with all of that being said. So let's look at Hazelnut in person. So this is what it looks like. And I do feel like in person this looks lighter than the color that is depicted on the swatch on the website. So I feel like they could have definitely had at least 2 shades in between Caramel and Hazelnut, and if they did, one of those shades probably would have been better for me. But if you are like in my complexion range and you got this, let me know what shade you got. Did you get Hazelnut, did you get Caramel, or some other color? So let's do some comparison swatches. So I only have one other cream bronzer in my collection, and it happens to be one that I don't really care for, but we'll start off with that one just for comparison's sake. But then all the other ones that I'm going to show you, they are all powder bronzers. So this first one is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer in the shade Bronze Belle. I actually meant to get this in the shade Sun Kiss to try that one out too, and then the last time I ordered from Ulta I actually forgot. So this is like the only like cream bronzer that I have. So this one is the shade Bronze Belle from e.l.f. And then next to that, since this is the only cream one I have, next to that I'm going to swatch the ABH bronzer. Just rubbing my finger in there felt really nice. So this is Hazelnut. So just comparing how Hazelnut swatched, comparing it to Bronze Bell, I love the way it swatched. Like, I just don't like this e.l.f. bronzer at all. Like, I don't know why everybody loves it, but I just don't care for it. But just the way that those two swatch, I just like the way that the ABH one swatched better. Okay, so now let me swatch some powder bronzers, and these are all ones that I really like. I'm not really going in any particular order, so I'm going to start with the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. This one is in the shade 310. So as you can see, they're very different. That Charlotte Tilbury bronzer, those are the colors that I normally bronze with, which is why I was thinking that the ABH one in Hazelnut was going to be too dark. I really didn't want to get both of them because they're $35 each, so that's why I only got one. Next is Huda Beauty Glowish, and this one is in the shade 04 Deep Tan. So that's that. Next we have Fenty Beauty in the shade Cocoa Naughty. There's that. Next we have the Morphe Glamour Bronze in Trailblazer. Let me see if I can straighten this one out a little bit. So there's that. So as you can see, like all of the bronzers that I really like, they're a little bit lighter and they're a little bit more red compared to the ABH bronzer. And then just for comparison's sake, I also want to swatch this NYX powder. This is the Can't Stop Won't Stop Mattifying powder. This is meant to be a setting powder, but I bought this particular color to test it out as a bronzer. So I want to use this one as a comparison too, because I think the color of it might be the most similar to the ABH one. This one is in the shade Rich. So what I'm gonna do is swatch this down here, but then I'm also gonna do another swatch of the ABH one on the bottom because I want to see this next to, oh no, it's still way darker than that one too. I mean, I guess I could see that from up here, but. So these are all of the swatches. So again, Lord have mercy, what is this? This is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer in Bronze Bell. This is the ABH Cream Bronzer in Hazelnut. This one is Charlotte Tilbury in 310. This is Glowish by Huda Beauty in 04 Deep Tan. This one is Fenty Beauty in Cocoa Naughty. This one is Morphe Glamour Bronze in Trailblazer. This one is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop powder in Rich. And this is another swatch of the ABH Cream Bronzer in Hazelnut. So I'm thinking based off of the swatches that they're saying that this is really pigmented. So I'm going to start off with a light application of this and just see how I like it and build it up if I think I need to. But first I'm going to speed through doing my base makeup because I know some of you guys like to see the whole process. So I'm going to be doing my foundation, concealer, and eyeshadow, and then we will get to the bronzer, and then everything that I'm wearing today will be listed in my description box. Okay, so we're ready to put on the bronzer. I haven't set my face yet because this is a cream product, so I'm going to go on with this first and then I'll go ahead and set my foundation. So I'm going to go in with this brush for today. This is the brightening brush from Alamar Cosmetics. So lately I have been using the same brush to do my setting powder, my bronzer, and my blush, but I'm going to be using something different since this is a cream product. So, and I think the density of this brush will be really good for a cream product. So I'm going to start off with that much. This right here might be too much, but we will see. So I'm actually going to start by applying on my cheeks first so I can see what I'm working with, because then I can kind of decide like what I need to do on my forehead since that's going to be like more prominent. So I'm just going to start by just tapping a little bit right where I would normally put my bronzer. Let me put a little bit more on the other side. It is quite pigmented, as you can see, but another thing that I'm noticing right off the bat is that I feel like I don't know about the color. To me, it's looking more cool tone than I would like. I mean, I do see a little bit of warmth, but I'm seeing more of like a cool, maybe like a neutral tone, but I don't feel like I'm seeing warmth. I'm gonna drag some of this up to my forehead because it is very pigmented. So I did pick up a little bit more than I should have on the brush. But the good thing about that is I can kind of spread this around a little bit. I'm not really crazy about the color, and it's much stronger than I would prefer for a bronzer, but that's because I picked up too much. That's not the product. I mean, it did say that it was nice and buildable, so I picked up more than I should have to start off with. What are y'all thinking about this shade? Should I have gotten caramel? Caramel looks more yellow than it did golden, and I prefer bronzers that run like reddish golden, not like yellow golden. But should I have gotten caramel? I don't think it looks bad on the forehead, but that's because I knew to go in with less product up here because of how it applied over here. I'm gonna take some residual foundation and go over this. I just want to soften it out a little bit. And it'll also get softened out when I go in with blush and setting powder too, so keep that in mind. So far, I'm thinking that if I were to use this product, which I don't think I would use it very often, I just don't like the color, I would use it on my forehead, but not on my cheek area. To me, it's just pulling like very gray. Maybe not very gray, but it's definitely grayer. It's definitely cooler than I would prefer. So far, I don't like it so far. What do y'all think? I'm tempted to put on a little bit more just in case there's some of you who might like how this looks, or you're thinking you might like it on you. I do want to see if it is buildable because that's one of the claims. So although I'm not liking the color, I'm going to go in with a little bit more. I just want to see like how it builds on top. Like how does one layer build on top of another. It also claims to have a to dry down to a matte finish, and it is doing that. Like I do like the way that it sets on the face. It sets really nicely. I just don't like this color. So I do think the color is looking a little more prominent. I do think that it is a buildable formula. Like even when you wait and let that first layer like really set, you go back on with another layer, I think it builds on top of itself really nicely. I'm gonna switch to a smaller brush and put a little bit on my nose too. And I like to always put bronzer just right on the sides of my nose, and I'm putting a very little bit because it's pigmented. And then whenever I apply bronzer, it doesn't matter which one it is, I like to take some of my residual foundation and pounce right back over the bronzer to soften it back out. So first impression, I'm not crazy about it, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But I am going to quickly finish up my makeup, and then I will come back and give y'all my final thoughts on this cream bronzer. Okay, so here is my makeup for today. So let me know what y'all are thinking about how the bronzer looks on me. I do feel like now that I have all of my makeup on, I am liking the bronzer a little bit better. I guess like everything else just kind of helped, you know, bring the whole look together. But I don't think that I would be reaching for this over any of those other bronzers that I swatched. Well, except for the e.l.f. one, because I don't like that one. But all of the other powder bronzers that I swatched, I definitely like how they look on me more than this one. But I'm not going to say that this is a bad product. I think if you are someone who likes a softer look, if you don't like a chiseled, like snatched look with your makeup, I would say skip this, because that's how I like my makeup. I like for it to be softer. Like, I don't like for my nose to look really snatched. I just like a soft look all over. But if you are someone who usually contours, if you like that really chiseled look, if you like for certain features on your face to look a bit more carved out, then this might be a good product for you, because I do feel like it is doing what it claims to do, which is give you a little bit of warmth but also add some definition at the same time. But the shade of this one, again, Hazelnut, because it's coming off a bit more like neutral cool, I'm gonna say, as opposed to warm, in my opinion, I think that it is giving me just a little bit more definition, and it's just looking more like a contour, like more like a shadow, as opposed to giving me warmth. So I'm not gonna say it's a bad product, it's just not something for me. If you like that bronzy slash contoured look, maybe give this a try. But if you find that when you do your makeup you usually just skip contour altogether, this might not be the product for you. But again, remember, I'm speaking specifically about the shade Hazelnut, so other shades may give more warmth than this one, but I feel like this one is coming off more of like a contour as opposed to a bronzer. So let me know what y'all think in the comments, and also let me know, do you think I should try the shade Caramel? I don't think so, but let me know what y'all think. So I hope that y'all enjoyed this video today. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel before you head out, and I will see y'all back here for the next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.